Hey there, welcome to a brand new episode of Muzikxpress. My name is Twan, and in this week's vlog you will see my interview with Rob G about his classic Ecstasy, You Got What I Need. But before we start with the interview, please make sure to subscribe to my channel, and very important, also make sure to click the bell button, because then you will get a notification the next time a new vlog is online. And if you enjoy my interviews and you want to support Muzikxpress, you can do that via one of the links in the video description. Every donation is very much appreciated. Alright, here it is, the story behind Ecstasy, You Got What I Need, my interview with Rob G. Enjoy. Rob G is a hardcore DJ and producer from New Jersey in the United States of America. He's active in the music scene since the early 90s, and during his career, he played at lots of legendary clubs and at festivals such as the Limelight in New York, Tomorrowland, Defcon 1, EDC, Thunderdome, Rave The City, Masters of Hardcore, Earthquake, and lots of others. In the year 1996, Rob G released the Punk, Funk and Live EP via ID&T's Hellsound label. The EP featured the track Ecstasy, You Got What I Need, which later came out as a separate single release on CD as well. The track got radio airplay, a popular music video, and it even made it to the number 30 position of the Dutch Top 40 chart. For this week's vlog, I sat down with Rob G to ask him about the story behind Ecstasy, You Got What I Need, and more. My first question to him was how old he was when he started to listen to music.
Wow. As a kid, I don't even really remember exactly what age. I just, remember my mother loved disco. So I remember, hearing the Bee Gees and Vicky Sue Robinson and things like this at a very young age. But then, if I was at my, grandparents' place, on my mother's side, I heard a lot of Frank Sinatra. If I was at my grandparents' on my father's side, I heard a lot of opera, because my grandfather was, on my father's side, was very big into opera. But then I was with my Aunt Kathy. Well, then I was listening to the Rolling Stones and Led Zeppelin and stuff like that. So at a very early age, I was exposed to a lot of different types of music. So this was in the 70s, obviously.
Ah, nice. So around what age did you start with making music yourself?
Yeah, so I think me officially starting to make music myself, I was always running around the house singing or just humming things or whatever. But as far as actually doing it, I want to say maybe I was 13-ish or something like that. And hip hop was just starting to become a thing. And breakdancing, which I was also, I was involved in all the aspects of hip hop. I was graffiti writing. I was, emceeing. I was then starting to DJ, and of course, breakdancing. And, but I also at the same time, liked my, my Metallica and my Anthrax. And so I wanted to be in a metal band, but I also wanted to be a DJ, rapper at the same time. So I think by the age of 14 though, is when I actually got my first set of, turntables and my first, I guess, experience in, making my own music, because I didn't have my own, I had the DJ equipment, but I didn't have my own drum machine yet or anything like that. And was me playing the instrumentals on the 12-inch singles of the hip-hop records, and I would make my own rhymes. But then I, got myself a bass, and me and my friends, we made a little metal group, and I was singing in the metal group. I wasn't the greatest bass player, still not the greatest bass player. But that was, my first introduction to making music. So I had one side of me that was rapping and being heavily influenced by the likes of Grandmaster Melly Mel and the Furious Five, of course Run DMC and the Beastie Boys. But also had this other side that wanted me to be Slayer, Metallica, blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you recall your very first ever release?
Yeah. My very first ever, and I go by the vinyl release. I did have some other obscure song that was on some CD that was released in America. I don't even recall the title, but the first vinyl that I was because I was this is a record that's coming out. Was a song called Nach Lentustaken, and it was under a pseudonym that I used called Riot Squad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, for this walk, we're going to talk about your classic Ecstasy, You Got What I Need, which came out as part of the Punk, Funk and Live EP in 1996. First things first, were you inspired by something when you started to work on the track?
So yeah, so here's the thing with that whole time period. There were so many labels that wanted me to be exclusive with them, and I just wasn't having it. I was such a fan of every label, of Rotterdam Records, of Mokum Records, of Rave Records, of ID&T and the Thunderdome. So basically I was going from like label to label, and I would do an EP for this record and an ET for that label. ET full home. Ouch. By the time I was ready to do something with ID&T, I had this 6-track EP. So there's Son of Rob G, which is like the classic Rob G sound, guitars and heavy kick drums. There's something called Who's Dancing, which is kind of like a groovy but still a hardcore track. But then I had this song called Ecstasy, You Got What I Need. And I remember they came up with it. I was listening on the radio, and my man Funkmaster Flex in New York, he dropped Biz Markie's Just a Friend, and I was like high on ecstasy at the time. And I was like, wow, say he's just a friend. Oh, ecstasy, you got what I need. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. And like the next day, I wrote the lyrics again, still high on the effects of ecstasy. And then I started to put the track together, and I laid it down, and that was I laid it down. But the interesting thing about it is, like, back then I didn't have like this big super studio or whatever, so there's a lot of vocals in that track. So when I recorded like what was the final version we hear today, I like mixed down the music and everything and got it to where I thought it was good. But I was like, how am I going to do the vocals? I don't have like an extra tape machine. Computers don't have the power they do today. So on one take, I sang all those words live to the final mix. And at the time, I didn't think it was a big deal, but apparently it is. Like now in retrospect, I'm like, wow, that is a big deal. Like, no editing, no nothing, just straight to that. And so I had this song with me, and I brought it into the ID&T office, and I'm giving them a 6-track EP. That's why it's Punk, Funk, and Live. Is the name of the EP. And, I'm playing to my Dennis Dooland, DJ Weirdo, what's up? He was the A&R at Thunderdome, or ID&T rather. And he's listening. I play him Son of Rob G. Like, yeah, okay, this is good, it's good. And I was like, guys, I got this one other song. I go, it's called Ecstasy, You Got What I Need. I go, it's hardcore, but the first minute and a half or 2 minutes is like kind of like a hip hop record. I go, but it's it could be like the last track on the EP. We already got the Rob G stuff. So he's like, play it. I play it, and I see Dennis. He's grooving and he's smiling, and then he's smiling some more. And then he gets up, he goes to the other room and gets Duncan Studerheim. He says something in Dutch. I have no idea what they were saying. It sounded positive. They came back in a room, played it again, and now they're both smiling, and they go, Rob, this is going to be on the radio. And I'm like, really? Like, I'm happy. It's not like I'm doubting them, but I'm like, this is going to be on the radio? And yeah, we released it, and within like a couple months, it was on the radio. Like the pop radio over here in the Netherlands. It was insane. It was a #1 video on the box for 13 weeks in a row. Like, insane.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So what kind of equipment did you use? Because you said like you didn't really have like your full studio in.
So at the time, I'm laughing because I'm like, wow, how is this even possible? Especially, So I had Atari 1040 SD computer. It was Cubase 1, which you had to load up by floppy disk, to get it going. I didn't even have a MIDI patch bay. So I had my 909. So out of the Atari, you had you take a MIDI cable. I think went into my 909 and then into my Akai S3000 sampler. And then another cable wrapped around to complete the loop into my Roland Juno 2, which I was really using more as a controller, at least for this song. And I had a little effects unit. I only had a Shure SM58 microphone, which is more for a live performance. And yeah, so I programmed the 909 with, you know, the beats. I got, you know, you got the Juno sound, which is called What The, is in there. The which is, you know, which Human Resource and Dominator made, you know, famous. Like that sound is not that melody, but that sound I use. And you know, replayed this you know the piano thing and everything. I had all that, you know, on the Cubase, you know, session. But like I just mentioned earlier, the vocals I did right live to the final mix, like one shot. Crazy.
So how long did it take you to finish the entire track?
I think only about a day and a half, honestly. I think I wrote the lyrics like you know, like again, high on ecstasy, and I think there was like either later that day or the next morning I started working on the beats. And back then I really had a vision of like how a song was gonna sound from A to Z. So when I went in the studio, it just happened. You know, like a lot of my tracks from back then, I would bang them out, like honestly, like in 3 to 4 hours, which today I was like, well, that's, I've done recently some songs, maybe only took 5 or 6 hours, but you know, it usually takes a little longer than that, you know, but yeah, it didn't, you know, maybe a day and a half, you know, for the final product that we hear today.
That's cool. Yeah. You just mentioned Dennis Doeland and Duncan Stutterheim from ID&T. And you said they love the track, but if I check like the vinyl, it's the, let me check, it's the B2 track of the EP. So why didn't they put it like a A1?
Yeah, so I don't know. I guess you'd have to ask them. I mean, I think what happened was, even though they said this is going to be on the radio, I think it would still be a release as an EP, and that's why an EP was called Punk Funk and Live, you know. But then it did get on the radio, so then this maxi single comes out. Yeah. Which is also called Punk Funk and Lie, and then in quotes, Ecstasy, You Got What I Need, which was, I noticed, like, that's kind of confusing. So if you look in the pop charts here, it's got both titles, and I don't know why it did that. It should just be Ecstasy, You Got What I Need, but instead, it's like, if you research it now, the Tip Parade or whatever it's called, you know, it says Punk Funk and Lie, Ecstasy, You Got What I Need. It says Rob G is the artist, but yeah, that's a little weird. So I don't know, like, so you got the EP that came out, and then they released the maxi single, but the maxi single still had the Punk Funk and Live EP. So I have no clue why it was done that way. I would not have done it that way if I was in control of it, but yeah, the song is still here today,
almost 30 years.
Almost 30 years. That's right. Next year will be 30 years. Yeah.
Are you going to do something for the anniversary?
I think so. You know, actually, you know, this summer, I think while I'm over here at some point here in, you know, Amsterdam, I think I'm going to go speak to, you know, my good friend Koen over at Q Dance, and maybe suggest something for the Power Hour at DEF CON, you know, and maybe we'll get some, you know, remixes of the song for 2026, you know.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ecstasy, You Got What I Need. Yeah, you just mentioned it. It even made it to the number 30 position of the Dutch Top 40 chart.
Crazy.
Yeah, this is probably something you didn't have that in mind when you made the track, right?
No, not at all. Absolutely not. I mean, I did it because it was fun. I like doing different things, and you know, I when I'm writing, I do what I feel. I'm not like, oh, let's try to make a hit or whatever, or let's copy what this person's doing. I never do that. I always do like what I feel. So, you know, I was feeling the Biz Markie track. I like the thing that, you know, that I came up with, and I laid it down. Like I said before, like even when I was talking to Dennis, I was like, I got this other song.
You weren't sure about it,
right? And like, you know, people like the Son of Rob G song, but like I don't right now. There's 4 other tracks. I mentioned Who's Dancing. I think some of this called Gabber Slam, maybe Gabber Love, and I think there's one other track. I don't even know like the name.
Oh, let me check because I got the vinyl.
Yeah, let me see. So let's count. Son of Rob G, Ecstasy, You Got What I Need, Who's Dancing, Gabber Slam, Gabber Love, and I'm missing something. All right, what am I missing? This is it. See? Rob G, Punk Funk and Live on Hellsound Records. What song am I missing? It's strange that I can't think of it.
I'm checking out the CD, and the CD has like a Big Mac Daddy.
Big Mac Daddy. How can I forget Big Mac Daddy? Wow.
Oh, here we have the CD as well.
Yeah. So I got them all except Big Mac Daddy.
Yeah.
I would like to do Big Mac Daddy. Redo Big Mac Daddy. It was awesome.
All right, well, cool. Next year, 30 years.
Yeah. Why not?
So yeah, how did your fans react to the track? Because yeah, as you said already, it starts like with like 1.5 minutes of hip hop and.
Yeah. So I play it, and I think they don't know what to do at first, you know, because, you know, everyone's still, you know, you're used to boom, boom, boom and doing the haka, you know, like, so they're listening to it. They weren't hating it, but I think, all right, well, when's the drop gonna come, you know? And I see that, you know, they're starting to like hawk, but like hop to the hip hop.
Yeah,
exactly. And then, of course, when they realize there is a drop at some point, well, then the next times you play it, it's okay to have that big verse in the beginning because people are singing it and because they know the drop is coming at some point, you know?
So yeah, there's also a music video for Ecstasy, You Got What I Need.
Yep.
If I check the video, it looks like it was mainly recorded like in a Midtown record store.
Okay, so the opening shot, I'm in the ID&T office where I throw this computer. They said, yeah, you could break that computer, just throw it.
You're like, fine.
I'm like, yeah, okay, let's break that computer, you know? And this is in 1996, like even like the beginning of, you know, like where it was more common to have computers around. And you can break that one, no problem. And then the part of the video where I'm like singing into the camera, you know, and I got my boys behind me, you know, and, you know, I got my Biohazard shirt on and whatever. It starts at Midtown in Amsterdam, which is, I forget, it's where we are right now. It's like 2 blocks over. It's like this street.
Halverstraat?
No, so you got you got the Spel right here, and you got the Noosa something. Then there's that street. Then after that's the Damrock. But this is like a street with just shops in it and stuff.
Yeah, Halverstraat.
Oh, well, maybe it is that. So Midtown, if that's where Midtown Records was, with no permits or no nothing, like ID&T just had, you know, 2 dudes with a beta camera show up at my hotel and said, actually, they said, what do you want to do? And I was like, oh, okay. I thought there was going to be a script or something. You know, I've never done this officially before. And I was like, okay, let's go someplace where, you know, we could, you know, we have some gabbers behind me. I asked some of my artist friends to show up. The only 2 that showed up was Bass D and King Matthews, so you could see them in the video. And with no permits or nothing, we started the Midtown thing, and then we just walked down this big, you know, where everyone's shopping, and I'm singing into the camera. Okay, we do that. Or what do you want to do next? Oh, let's go on the tram. We'll just go on the tram, and I'm going to sing Ecstasy, You Got What I Need. Hey, we'll let you in free to a party if we could throw you into the canal. So some kid let us throw him into the canal, and he was, you know, got some VIP tickets. And then the concert footage is shot at this ID&T earthquake party, which was in Zoetermeer. So the big shots, we see everyone clapping their hands, everyone that were, you know, live shots filmed at Earthquake. And then someone edited it all together, and I like the result. I like it.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
So what is your favorite memory when it comes to the release of Ecstasy, You Got What I Need?
Man, the favorite memory, you know, maybe when we were doing that concert shot, I really, you know, because that was like, it was like, that's the first time I got to do the song like live. So, and I always sing my, you know, sing my verses live and, you know, everything. And just to see everyone like, wow, like this really is like a big hit. Like everyone really loves it. Everyone's clapping their hands in unison. And, I guess that would be, you know, probably the moment at least stands out a lot, you know?
Ah, cool. So yeah, you're active in the scene for a very long time already. You produce tracks in all kinds of styles, and besides hardcore, techno, Frenchcore, etc. Yeah, you're also known for your love of rock and metal music. You did work with Sid Wilson of Slipknot, and I think also, yeah, you with the people from System of a Down and
Shabbat from System of a Down.
Yeah, Biohazard as well, I think.
Yeah, so Billy from Biohazard, Danny from Biohazard, and then Scott, who was in Biohazard at the time as well. Yeah, I did a few different collaborations with all these. There's one record where almost everyone appeared on it. I did a cover song of Curtis Blow the Breaks. So I got Danny Schuler from Biohazard playing drums, Shabo Dajian playing bass from System of a Down, Sid Wilson, aka number 0 of Slipknot, laying down the scratching, and then Sean Martin of the band Hatebreed was played guitar, so that was like all in one. But then there's other songs I did, like Adrenalize, where it's a Rob G hardcore record, and I got Billy from Biohazard playing guitar, but Sid is from Slipknot's doing the scratching. There's a few other songs as well.
Is anything more like that in the works?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it. Sid and I have definitely talked about it. We even started to lay some stuff in the studio, but our schedules kind of got away from each other. Shavo and I have definitely spoke to something. Ideally, I think I would like to do something, with, Sid and Shavo, but make it, more in the Rob G world. Because there was some other stuff we did where they were saying it should be more Rob G, and meaning like it should be more about the drop when it comes in, versus, and I was like, no, it needs to be more about the band or whatever. So like, there's some things we did where like the 909 is in there, but the it's not as dominating as you would hear like in a hardcore song. And even though these guys were telling me you're missing your boom boom boom, I was like, no, but I want to like overshadow you guys or whatever, which so I was being actually kind of humble.
You're being polite.
Right. But honestly, they were right, because fast forward another 10 years or whatever, me and Neophyte and TM, we made this thing called Coming At You Strong, which, okay, you kind of got me doing like a bit of a metal thing or whatever, but when the drop comes in, it comes in. So I would like to go back and, do something like that with, my friends, Because we actually, there are these like 2 albums. One's self-titled called Rob G. The other one's called Says. And that's got a lot of this music that I just described on it, where like, it's a mixture of, hardcore metal and hardcore techno, but the hardcore techno part or the gabber part is not as dominating in the mix as the other parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not too long ago, you started a new project together with the legendary Marco Cardipane, which is called the Gabanos.
Yeah. Me, Marco Cardipane, and the Gabanos.
Yeah. So why did you guys decide to team up?
Well, Mark and I have been friends for like a very, very long time, and we still are to this day. I spoke to him earlier this morning, and we always talked about doing something, and that never materialized. And then last year we really spoke about it. I even, got us like some shows. We even got to, play, DEF CON, but it's kind of on pause at the moment. Like the idea was really it to be more of a live act, where you would hear, new music from us, but also you would hear our hits. You're going to hear I Like It Loud. You're going to hear Ecstasy Got What I Need. You're going to hear, Stereo Murder. You're going to hear Get the Fuck Up. But yeah, it's kind of a bit on a pause. I still want to revisit it. He's still into it, but until I think we make some new stuff together, I don't think you're going to see that for a little while.
Okay. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I hope so.
Yeah. So we're recording this interview in Amsterdam, the Netherlands. I know you did your very first ever international gig also in the Netherlands, when Paul Elstak invited you to play at Nightmare Rotterdam in the legendary Energie Hall. You also work with a lot of Dutch people, such as Charlie Lones and Mental Theo, Buzz Voss, Basie and King Matthew, the Party Animals, and Neophyte, to name a few. You also have a Dutch bookings agency, No Cologne Bookings.
Yes.
I think it's safe to say that you have a special connection with the Netherlands.
Oh, I definitely do. I mean, Netherlands is a second home to me.
Yeah.
And, even though I know I love all the Netherlands and all my friends from this, and, I do feel really home in Amsterdam. I know some people are like, oh, what do I feel? Because cities fight with each other because of football and stuff. But I'm not into, all that drama. I'm just make love, not war, peace. But, Netherlands, it's like a second home to me. But Amsterdam, really feels like a second home. I always even stay at the same hotel, and I actually get the same room all the time. And I just feel really comfortable here. And, like you mentioned, I have so many friends over here. So I do live here to a degree, and who knows, maybe in the future I'll live here permanently. Yeah. I do have some Dutch blood, by the way. Just want to let you know. Yeah, on my on my mother's side, from my grandparents, there's just a klein beetje.
Can you tell us what you're working on right now?
Yeah, so right now I'm always working on new music. I got this song. It's gonna be dropping soon. Called "Welcome to the Party," which it's got a nice little verse and a hook. This one's a little different for me. It's got the heavy 909, but also has more of like a Eurodance kick that comes in with some pretty sounds before the 909 comes in heavy. It's something I probably would never ever have done in the 90s because I was like, no, happy, no, it's so bad, but I wrote this. I like it. That's coming out. But I'm also working on stuff, with guitars too, that I'm like known for because I still like that vibe. But I got this this pretty song coming out, which is all heavy 909s. But I have this girl from the UK, Coda, who's also singing like the main part of the song. My vocals are also in it, but she's more with the verse and the chorus and the hook. And that's something I really have never done before. I think I did two songs. The Prophet and I did a song called Evil Reigns, where I go back and forth with this girl. And then Prophet and I also did a cover of the No Doubt song. What the hell's it called?
Don't Speak?
Yeah, Don't Speak, exactly. Yeah. So there's that. But this is but that's a cover song too. This is at least the first time it's just a Rob G track, of course, with Coda. What's up, Coda? And I'm really happy with the result. So that probably will drop right before the summer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Lots of stuff coming out.
That's good. Yeah, you're very active on social media. So yeah, besides your music, we do know you because of your positivity and vibes. Yeah.
Positivity and vibes, yes.
And of course that you're very proud to be sober now for more than 13 years.
13 years.
So yeah. So I guess it's not always easy because the scene you're working in.
Well, you mean to stay sober?
Yeah.
I don't mean to sound so confident, but for me, it kind of is.
Yeah.
Listen, it is difficult. And I know it's difficult for a lot of people because I was also one of those people where it was very, very, very difficult. I can't tell you how many times I tried to get sober and I would be sober for a little while, but then it just takes that one wrong or bad decision. This one pissed you off or this person passed away or whatever. There's so many different it's so easy just to say, fuck it. And then you do it, and then you're back on that roller coaster again. Luckily, a little over 13 years ago, I was on one of my benders where I was drinking for a few days in a row, and I kept going back to this liquor store to buy a bottle of vodka, and on the third day, I put my bottle of vodka down, and the guy behind the counter is like, no way, man. That's all he said, 3 words, no way, man. And I left the bottle. Now, I could have went across the street. There was another liquor store, could have got vodka there. There was another one around the corner, could have got vodka there. It's easy to get alcohol. But all I remember from that day, and this was April 12th, 2012, because my sober date's April 13th, so I'm still drunk at this point, or, fiending alcohol on April 12th. I remember going home, walking home. I remember being able to go to sleep, and not having a problem going to sleep. But this was not one of those days where I was like, never again, I don't want to, there was millions of those days. This was not one of those days. I just went to bed, and then I would say about 5 months went by, and I was on the phone with my mother, and she's like, Robbie, you haven't drank in 5 months. So I'm like, that's weird. That's really weird. I'm like, so I retraced my steps. I'm like, okay, when was the last time I drank? And it happened to be Easter that year. I was in Italy. I played at Club Number 1, amazing club. And I did my show, and then afterwards I drank. And I went to the hotel minibar. Drank. Went to my, first class lounge on the plane the next day. Drank the whole plane ride home. Drank the guy's house. Brings me back to now me buying this bottle of vodka every day. So I was like, wow, 5 months went. I was like, I noticed I wasn't craving it anymore. I was out at places and I just wasn't thinking about it. So then I started writing about it on my social media. I'm like, you know what? I know there's a lot of people out there that suffer from addiction. I don't want to say, hey, drugs are bad or alcohol's bad, but I just want to tell my story. And if it helps just one person, it's worth it.
Yeah.
So I start doing this, and I do it on the 13th of every month. But here's the weird thing, and the weird thing in a good way. Me being me, I want to go back and thank this man because this guy sells me the bottle of vodka. Maybe I'm not here right now. You know, who knows? Or maybe I'm just still a drunk or something. That changed my life that day. So I go back. He's not there. I go back again. He's not there. This went on for 3 years. This time I walk in and I notice on the wall, there's a picture of him and there's like flowers and there's like a candle. At that moment, I knew he passed away, you know, but then I went to the man behind the counter, you know, who kind of looked like him, but older. And I was like, you know, sir, who's that? He's like, that's my son. I was like, well, what happened? He's like, he passed away. I was like, sir, I'm so sorry for your loss. And, you know, he's like, oh, thank you. You know, and I go, listen, you're probably going to think I'm crazy, but I was in here 3 years ago. And although your son was very nice about it, he refused to sell me a bottle of vodka. I was buying like a bottle of vodka a day. And, you know, he refused to sell me this bottle of vodka. And I have not drank ever since. I go, so I truly believe that your son, sir, saved my life. And I was like, listen, if I can't thank him, can I please thank you? And this old, you know, Indian man, he just grabbed me. He's like, no, thank you. And I'm like, and we're starting to like cry. And but I was like, sir, I was like, okay, thank you. But why are you thanking me? And he's like, listen, I was the father. My son's name is Niels. You know, Niels, my guardian angel. He's like, my son's name is Niels. He's like, and he died on a motorcycle. He's like, I was the father that said, you're going to kill yourself on that thing. So how do you think I feel that when he did die, it's on a motorcycle? I've been living with this pain. He's like, but now you come in out of nowhere and you tell me that my son saved your life. He's like, and these are his words, not mine. He's like, now I know that my son was sent to this earth to save your life so that you can do good for others. And I was like, sir, this is what I'm doing. And I'm starting, you know, getting the kippa filled, the goosebumps, exactly. And I'm crying even more, you know, and I was like, sir, I write about this on my social media. I'm very open about it with anyone. And there has been people who have DM'd me or commented like, hey, Rob, you saved my life. You know, I didn't know I could listen to hardcore and not be under the influence of something. I get so many messages like that. So, yeah, when he said that to me, I mean, I was like, wow, just to hear. So to go back to your original question of why the craving, I really believe, because the way this happened and the way, you know, Niels passed away and what his father said to me, I feel that day a big demon was ripped out of me. And besides making music and doing whatever, that I had this other purpose in life, which I am currently fulfilling. Because I'm at bars, I'm at clubs, and you're right, it's all over the place. Cocaine, you know, ecstasy, alcohol everywhere, and I'm okay with my sugar-free Red Bull or my Spa Blau or, you know, ginger tea. I'm good, you know, Pepsi Max.
Oh, that's a beautiful story, actually.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Yeah, oh, wow.
Crazy.
So, what kind of music do you listen to in your spare time?
I listen to a little bit of everything, and I'll just give you some examples. I mean, I love my Metallica. I also love Billy Joel. I love things like from the 80s, like, you know, Journey, Don't Stop Believing.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, but I still love I love disco. I also love Motown, you know. I like a bit of the boy band shit, like Backstreet Boys and New Kids on the Block. Old school hip hop, and when I say that, we're talking 80s into the 90s. Still love that. We love My Cypress Hill. You know, we love Run DMC, Public Enemy. You know, things like Beastie Boys. Of course, Beastie Boys are like idols to me. So yeah, I have a very Rolling Stones. I love the Rolling Stones. Slayer, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, AC/DC. I mean, I'm all over the place. I love a little bit of everything.
Ah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So, is there still something on your bucket list, music-wise?
Yeah, I do have. There's definitely one thing on my bucket list. I would love to do a record that's produced by Rick Rubin.
Oh, yeah.
Rick Rubin, I want you to produce a Rob G record. And you know what? Let's get, Darren and Shavo from System of a Down and Sid from Slipknot in there too. It'll be a monster.
Yeah, I'm sure one of your friends has his email, so...
They do. I mean, especially Shavo and Darren from System. I mean, not only does he still, has produced all their albums, like, they're actually friends. So, maybe it'll happen.
Maybe he'll invite you to a barbecue or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe it'll happen. Hey, man. Yeah, how about this, bro?
And the last question, pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Not a fan.
Not a fan.
Nah.
Okay.
Never was.
Okay.
I don't cringe if I see it, but you know, like some people do, but
Yeah,
it's not for me. I love pineapple though. Give me a virgin pina colada. I'll take that.
Okay, yeah, good.
Yeah.
Well, thanks all for your time and good luck with everything.
Thank you, my brother. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Alright, that was it. This week's vlog, my interview with Rob G and the story behind Ecstacy, You Got What I Need. Rob, thanks a lot for your time. Much appreciated. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the vlog. If you did, make sure to give this video a like, leave a comment in the comment section below, and very important, make sure to subscribe. Also make sure to click the bell button, because then you will get a notification the next time a new vlog is online. Once again, thanks for watching, and until next time, bye bye.